here at MB. We'd just like to thank you once again for joining us here on our YouTube channel and, of course, our Twitch stream. I'm one of your co-hosts, Stephen. And our other co-host is John. John Sweet. We're here to talk about entertainment news. And we're going to be talking about Dune free script in a little while, John. We're going to be talking about Beetlejuice sequel, how it's performing on Rotten Tomatoes, and a little surprise. We've been talking about this for quite a while, about the Goonies set to get a sequel 40 years after the original. But before all that, we're going to be talking about Goat.
The greatest of all time.
The greatest of all time. Telepathy Vijay's.
There's many goats in life, isn't there?
And he's one of them.
F1.
John, this is day 4 of the box office. Vijay is undisputed king of Tamil cinema in 2024. That's the headline, folks.
I'm absolutely delighted to hear that, first and foremost, because I love Telepathy Vijay.
Before we get into it, John, we were doing trailer reactions on Friday night, and then we had a little conversation after we had wrapped up, and you actually said, because I assumed this was his final film before he stepped into politics, you said, no, Stephen, I think he's got one more.
Well, I mean, that's what the community said.
Yeah. So
when we reacted to the previous trailer, the final trailer, I think, we were of the assumption that he was moving on to pastures now, becoming a politician.
Yeah.
This was his last movie, and it would have worked out beautifully. Goat, the greatest of all time, Telepathy, shuffles off into the sunset, becomes a stuffy, boring politician, and leaves the cinema and film world behind. What a way to go out with an aptly named movie, Goat. Yeah. But no, some and many people indeed said in the comments that it's his second last, it's his penultimate bow, and then his final bow will be the next movie.
Yeah.
And I hope it's a good name.
We've we reacted to
so the
it wasn't a teaser, I can't remember what you call that. Announcement or whatever it was. I can't remember what the official title of that sort of teaser was. It was a teaser, but not a traditional teaser. We then got to see obviously the full trailer, John. Thoroughly enjoyed what we were seeing versions of a de-aged Telepathy Vijay working alongside his older version.
Yeah, I think there's 2 distinct characters, isn't there? I can't even fucking speak. A father and a son, and then I think we may be seeing de-aged versions of the actual father. I'm not sure. I've not seen the film yet. That's what the community is going to help us out with. They can come in and share.
Pretty sure some of the community's already seen this film. We're into day 4, of course, as I said. Telepathy Vijay is the greatest of all time, has quickly become the highest grossing Tamil film of the year, both domestically and worldwide. The Venkat Prabhu directed film reached the milestone in just 3 days, grossing 221.25 crore globally in 4 days, surpassing
I don't know if this is the same article here.
154 it is, crore. Notably, it exceeded Ryan's earnings in just 2 days, earning 155 crore. The film currently has a net collection of 137.2 crore in India, according to CINE, which is one of those stat websites for performing box office performance.
Sounds like a villain in an animated film from 75 years ago. Rumpelstiltskin, sack milk.
Yeah, I don't think. Sad sack. I don't think even if Telepathy Vijay, I've got to get out of the habit of saying it that way. Even if he was stepping into politics and this was his second last or last film, where it would have really mattered. This was always going to be a high-grossed performance film anyway, just because of the name attached to it. I'm
going to endeavour to bring up his last grossing films. If I can actually get the keyboard to register me typing, that would be fucking wonderful. This is going to be slow, and what is going on here? It's bringing up phobias. What is this?
Thalassophobia.
Is that the whole thing? Fear of holes? I think it is.
Know.
Box office collection.
Fear of holes.
I think it is, yeah. No, it's not just, obviously it's not. We're not talking about, the usual holes. Well, we're talking about a collection of holes close together. I think that's what that is.
Yeah.
I personally don't have that phobia. I'm just scared of spiders, plain and simple. And I stay away from the bastards, but they have. Saying that, I dealt with one the other day pretty neatly. I was coming down the window, I stopped the car, get out and took it with a card, and I saved the spider as well. I digress. I would love to get... a breakdown of just the last 4, 5, 6 Telepathy Vijay movies and get an idea of the box office takes, because I would imagine even the likes of Varisu, which didn't do as well in terms of critical response, certainly his hardcore fans were even coming at it and saying it wasn't up to standard. I bet it still made a lot of money. Just a long and fucking drawn out way to say exactly what you said, Stephen. Regardless of whether it's his second, his third, his 20th last film, his last film, this guy's a box office magnet. He is absolute gold. He destroys the box office every single time he releases a film because it's Telepathy Vijay. Guy's an absolute superstar. Certainly in the south of India, he should be a pan-Indian star because he's a tour de force.
It could be a choice, couldn't it? It could be a choice, a conscious choice.
Yeah, but the rest of India should know who he is. And
yeah,
I
John,
assume they do.
I think, well,
I say that.
You say that, and it's something that we naturally assume coming from the West that everybody in India should know who he is. And I've spoke to a few people from the north of India who've never heard of him. And I just can't understand that. You spoke to some of the guys down at our local restaurant.
They didn't know anything.
Obviously, they knew who Shah Rukh Khan was, but they did not know who you were.
Who Prabhadeva was.
Yeah, yeah. It just it kind of opens your eyes to obviously not everyone's into entertainment, I suppose. But
well, I mean, I can speak from experience. My good friend Praveen, who's obviously over in not in Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates now, doing incredibly well, loaded, director of a hospital and whatnot. He wasn't interested in Indian cinema. He liked Western cinema, and he never spoke to me in the entire time he was in this country about any Indian actors or Indian cinema. He was into Harry Potter and Western stuff. So I know for a fact that a lot of Indians will be into Indian cinema and only Indian cinema, and certainly that's been our experience when we do Western reactions. There's not as much interaction from the Indian side of our audience. But I'm sure there's a sizable proportion of people in India who either just don't care about cinema or maybe they just like Western or other regions' cinema and they're not as infused by Western cinema. But most people should know who Telepathy VG is. But you can see here, Stephen, it's Sacknilk again. I'm on the actual website. They're talking about Telepathy. And it's his 8th film to cross 100 crores gross in Tamil Nadu. Mersal did it. Not tell me what other ones did it. Sarkar, Biggle, Master, Beast, Varisu did, and Leo that came out last year. So yeah, just about every film this guy releases smashes the box office down in Tamil Nadu. I just don't know what I'm saying. What is down for us? We're right up north. There's only 15% or 12% of the population on the entirety of Earth that are above us in the hemisphere.
It's crazy, isn't it?
We are that high up.
But we can feel that every day, John. With the
Fucking
weather.
right we can.
Yeah.
And the poor ones that are above us are in Canada or the Arctic Circle, so they get even
worse.
worse weather than us. And think of them, and some of them have
John,
to
we've
deal
got
with
a
polar
comment.
bears.
Have
we?
Yeah, we've got from Akshay Kumar.
Akshay
Hey
Kumar.
guys,
I'd like to interview you, actually. I need to watch some of your films, my man.
hope you guys are well. Did you get to watch The Goat? We've not yet.
I do want to go and see it, though. I do. I really like the look of that film. It's always an enigma. Sorry, Stephen, I'm bouncing right in.
You're actually answering the question here, John, and it was I'm on the same page as you actually here. I do want to go and see this.
Do
in
we
the
see
cinema.
it in the theatre?
Yes.
Or do we wait
No.
and watch it as a sort of content for the channel? I think with this...
We don't seem to be doing a lot of
no,
that
we're
anyway,
not doing
so.
fucking anything just now. So I think it would be probably wise to watch this in the theatre.
Just for the experience, John, just to take it in, you know.
It looks absolutely epic. It looks really slick as an action film experience. You've got Telepathy de-aged and it looks really authentic. And the story looks compelling as well. And the fact that it is one of the guy's last films as an actor, I'm sure he'll come back in 20 years or something. But by that point, he's Ranjinikanth. You know what I mean? I love Ranjinikanth. I'm not down in Ranjinikanth. But he's clearly had better films in the past. We've seen them 30 years ago. He's not going to be as bombastic and as high octane an actor as he is just now. And look, that'll be fine. I'm sure when he does come back, it'll be the third act of Telepathy. We've had the romantic babyface Telepathy. We've had this action, sort of all action Telepathy. I'm sure when he comes back, he'll be a more mature, suave.
Versatile,
Is that the word? Suave?
Yeah.
Is that how you say
Oh,
it?
that's Ranjinikanth you're
Yes,
describing.
yeah.
Isn't it?
But you're not going to get many more opportunities to see this
he's
guy in a theatre.
Physically he's at his peak at the moment. You know, he's 50, isn't he?
49, 50, yeah.
And yeah, I mean, 20 years from now he's going to be 70. So
He may come back sooner.
yeah,
He may not leave at all.
I think this is an itch he's got to scratch, John, in terms of the politics stuff. It's something that means a lot to him. He's very passionate about social ilks, as we've seen in his films many, many times. He wants to right some wrongs, I suppose. politicians are supposed to do. Certainly, I don't know about this country, but that's what you're meant to do. You're meant to help the people. But he's passionate.
The current
and
Prime Minister, so
he's a people's champion, you know, and I think if you're going to have a politician, you want people like him to be obviously in that field. But
I mean, the beauty with telepathy, Stephen, is, and I know we're not getting into politics and how good a politician he's going to be. We're meant to be talking about GOAT, but a lot of politicians, I'm sure, will be swayed by money and corruption. I'm not saying all politicians in Tamil Nadu and India are corrupt, but I think there's a large proportion of politicians around the world who are corrupt and are drawn to money. Telepathy doesn't need money.
No.
He's made for life. He's super rich. He's getting into politics for pure passion, and as you said, to right some wrongs in society. Well, I'm not saying he's going to do it. I mean, he might not get voted in ultimately, but I think he'll do his best, and he's not going to be swayed by corruption or money because he doesn't need it. So that's always a Brucey bonus. If you can step into an alternate career after you've been highly successful and made oodles of money in your primary career, then you're getting in for the right reasons. So that always helps.
Actually, Kumar says Leo is 620 crore and GOAT yesterday is 288 crore officially.
4 or 5 days, it's wild.
Haha, if you guys have the opportunity to watch it nearby, you should. The movie, more than being a spy thriller, is more of a massive face-off between two guys. I'm not going to tell you who, because it might be a spoiler. It's Yogi Babu, isn't it? Isn't it? Yogi.
Is he in that film? Yeah, I'd love to see Yogi in it. You know, I don't actually know who the villain is. Did we get a scene?
Is it not just telepathy? Just is it not?
You think so? No,
I don't know.
I don't think so. I think it was another big name actor. I'm sure we've seen someone. Was it not? Prabhudev is in it, but he's not the villain.
Mohan.
He's not the villain. I can't. Yeah, was it? I can't remember who the villain was. I've just another reason to go and see this fucking film in the theatre. Prabhudev and Telepathy Vijay dancing.
Yogi Babu, isn't this, by the way?
Is he? He's in every Telepathy film. He's like the Rob Schneider, is it?
Yeah.
To Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
Telepathy, Yogi Babu. But Prabhudev, man, I just pray to God. I hope if you've seen it actually and you're still here and you can understand what I'm saying, a lot of people can't. Is there a dance number between Prabhudeva and Telepathy? See if there isn't, I'm going to hunt down the director and I'm going to do. I'm not. I have to stress I'm talking shit here, but I'll be most displeased if there's not a dance number between those two. Because Hey Rama Rama, we reacted to it back in the day. Reacted to a ton of Prabhudeva stuff, Mukala Mukabala and stuff like that.
Some didn't see the light of day.
He's a wondrous dancer, actor, director, writer. Him and Telepathy dancing is just fucking gold, absolute gold. Make it so number one, as I used to say back in the day, and I still do. So that's another reason to watch it. Prabhudev's in there.
I'm interested to know how many films they're in together.
I think there's many.
Yeah. So this is.
I don't think he was in Hey Rama Rama.
So this is
the film that Hey Rama Rama was in. He just came in to dance with him.
Yeah.
I don't know what film Hey Rama Rama was in. The actual dance song. Hey Rama Rama. What film was that in? It was in Villeneuve, and I don't think Prabhudev was in Villeneuve. He was in Villeneuve, so there you go.
Prakash Raj.
Singer dancer.
Another name we know.
I think he was in it and he was dancing, and that was it. So I don't think they've starred together often, if ever.
It'd be interesting to see. I mean, it's
fuck is getting tight here.
I just think there's a vibe with both of them on the screen together.
No, Madhavan's in there as well.
Yeah.
Didn't realise. Is he? Is he? Don't know about that. Anyway, I digress, man. It's definitely one you have to see in the theatres.
Yeah.
In terms of the numbers, though, I mean, that's phenomenal numbers. After 4 days to have grossed that amount, and you're not that far off the total gross of Leo, which we reacted to and really enjoyed.
I loved Leo, yeah.
It was a brilliant film.
Great.
Just
wasn't his best, but it was really good.
Oh, but the sort of double life he was living.
Yeah.
Telepathy's wonderful at that, man. He's just brilliant. And
who was the
so many
female
films.
lead in that again? Very underplayed.
Wasn't Trisha, was it?
Can't remember.
It was Trisha, wasn't it?
Was it Trisha Krishnan? Yeah.
I think it was.
Yeah.
Fucking Leo, not the star sign. Come on. The movie, man.
Not the lizard movie either.
No, fucking God. His murder. And that was out in 2023.
Yeah, Trisha Krishnan.
Yeah, Trisha Krishnan. Yeah.
Yeah, very underplayed in that. But I mean,
Sanjay Dutt was also in it as well, and Sanjay's incredible.
Yeah, I thought it was
So-
great. You know, it was a good film.
So for it to nearly be catching up with that in such a short time, it shows you how well the film's performing. Like I say, it's not a surprise. I would be more interested to see it's sort of gross across India, and if it's performing outside of Tamil Nadu, how much people are watching up north and whatnot, because it continues to bamboozle me that there's this regional bias in India. We seem to speak about this every time we talk about Indian cinema. People in Hindu regions don't watch Tamil movies, don't watch Telugu movies unless it's a pan-Indian film. They wait until it gets remade for their dialect. It just blows my mind. Just watch a fucking film with
lesser actors,
captions.
Yeah.
You're never going to beat the original. Very few remakes beat the original.
Yeah, I mean, we watched Vikram Vedha, wasn't it?
Yeah, the South Indian one.
The original film, and then it was remade with your man from Sacred Games, wasn't it?
Yeah, Saif Ali Khan, yeah.
Yeah. I probably would have watched that. If I hadn't watched the original film and it came about, I probably would have watched it based on him. Fantastic actor. We reacted to one of his films not that long ago, John.
Looked totally different without the dubbing.
Obviously Ryan's up there as well. It's just beat Ryan. Obviously that's the Denis film.
Yeah.
Just
You
2
reacted
days.
to that, didn't we? Did that ever go out?
Yeah, I can't remember. I can't remember. There was we had some issues with a lot of videos at that point, so I'm not really sure.
Oh, is he the director of Vijay? Prabhadeva. What's this? There is a dance with all of them at the start. Prabhadeva and Vijay. Oh, for fuck. Unbelievable.
Need to
man.
get to that cinema, John.
He's just, I absolutely love Prabhu. I can't wax lyrical enough about the guy. He's one of the greatest dancers I've ever seen. Genuinely unbelievable mover.
Yeah, you're in for a lot of surprises. Yeah, that sounds great. Sounds very intriguing.
Really gives you a fake impression in many things, some twists and turns. Yeah. Not seen any reviews or anything. We like to stay away from stuff like that. And go in blind.
Because not that we're easily swayed or anything like that, John, but sometimes when I see a film getting panned, it sours.
Well, I mean, we didn't
your
watch
expectation
Varisu because of it, so that was kind of what returned me to that mindset.
Yeah.
Just ignoring what other people say and making your own decision.
It's the joys of doing an entertainment channel where you're actually reporting on these things.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to pick up on, obviously, responses and the reaction of the audience, etc. But
I'm knocking myself out.
definitely this one is on the cards to be viewed in the cinema because based on, obviously, being fans of Thalapathy Vijay, but also loved the sort of teaser and loved the full trailer as well.
There you go. It's View. It's at Odeon. It's at Cineworld in Silverburn. So there you go. It's shown. It's here.
Good times as well.
Yeah.
But that's a decent time, by the way. Yep.
Yeah.
I would go. I'm telling you, if
It's
you want
here.
to go.
No, I think I definitely will go and watch it. Yeah, I definitely want to go and see it. Because Steve, I've never seen an Indian film in the theatre.
Yeah.
We keep saying.
Well, we've got to do a review outside the theatre as well. Perhaps maybe not actually full view of all the pollock punters, but end up getting lynched. Chased.
They wouldn't fucking chase me. I'd just assault them with something out what you call it? I was about to say Byron buggers.
Yeah.
Five Guys. Byron buggers. We don't have Byron buggers here, John. I wish we did. You're going to spend £15 on a fucking burger and chips. You may as well do it right. You never heard of Byron buggers?
But I'm sure we'll follow up with more developments of the film's progression, John, in terms of box office in the coming weeks anyway. But it's a good start. Byron Burgers.
Oh man,
We're not sponsored by them, but John.
They're in London.
Yeah.
I think they're in Edinburgh. I think they're in Glasgow.
We're getting a Cinebon coming to Silverburn, by the way, so that's another reason to get over there to see the cinema. Get a Cinebon as well if you're into that type of thing. Have you got anything else to say on that topic?
Just delighted for Thalapathy that he's made a successful film again. If anyone deserves it, it's him. He's a truly, truly great guy. Off the screen, front of the screen. And just to maintain that passion for so long and to have that energy that he has, playing multiple characters and getting right involved, guy deserves all the success he gets in life.
Yeah, and this is just the beginning. I'm sure this was going to break more records, but if you guys have seen The Greatest of All Time, please let us know in the comments section. If you're intending to go, let us know that as well. What's your views on Thalapathy Vijay as well? Do you like him as an actor? Do you like him as an action star? What's your favourite film from him as well? We're very interested to know all about what you think of the great man. But we're going to move on to our next topic, John. And it's all about Dune 3 script update from Denis Villeneuve. confirms active development fuels next movie speculation. And in a Toronto International Film Festival
headline
interview
English
with Variety, Denis Villeneuve
Terrible.
provided an update on Dune 3, confirming that the script is in the works. He humorously mentioned that this is why he's not staying at TIFF for long. Villeneuve also reflected on the success of Dune Part 2, noting that he felt a stronger connection with the audience compared to the pandemic era release of Dune Part 1, which is only natural, I suppose. I think there is a quote within the Screen Rant article, John, from Denis. If you want to read the full, if you want to read the full quote, it is there.
Yes, I shall. I will bring it up.
Italic.
If you're going to do it, you're going to do it right, aren't you? I suppose. Villeneuve's from Canada, isn't he? He's from Montreal. He speaks French.
Canadian,
Speaks very good French indeed.
Denis,
I think there was a couple of people who were in Dune 2 spoke French. Off the top of my head, Timothy speaks a bit of French.
Yeah.
But there was another fucking Mike. There was another actor, female actor. Jesus Christ, that's Mike. She spoke really good French.
Florence Pugh, was it?
No, it wasn't. It was someone else, but they were all speaking really good French.
Rebecca Ferguson?
No, she's Swedish, isn't she? I can't remember who it was, but there was three.
Yeah. Do you know what it took me to the second film to realise she was in The Greatest Showman? I was like, I know her face from somewhere.
She was a wife, wasn't she?
She was a singer, the sort of opera singer. Yeah, that kind of Hugh Jackman's character took a shine to. Yeah,
right,
I just didn't twig.
Who was his wife again? I can't remember.
It was she was in Dawson's Creek. I can't remember her name.
Oh, you talking about? Was it the
Heath Ledger's Mrs.
This microphone.
Michelle Williams.
Yeah, it was Michelle. Yeah, it was. Yeah, she's like, and even though I'm blanking on her name from Hostiles, always fucking forget her name.
Hostiles, what was that?
Christian Bale, Native American.
Oh yeah.
Takes
Rosamund
Pike. I always forget her name as well. We're off screen just now, by the way. This is Screen Rant with a quote and we're talking. We're still here, I can assure you. It's not like voices from the fucking Ether that are speaking here.
It's not an advert.
Yeah.
Shark speech style. Shop now.
We're just going off in tangents as we tend to do in this. Stream this show, whatever you want to call it. Whatever adjective you want to use. I digress. Villeneuve said this, and that's the way you say it, by the way. It's not Villeneuve. It's not fucking F1. It's Villeneuve. I think his name is probably Villeneuve as well, but people just butchered it like they do with Van Gogh. Van Gogh, it's not Van Gogh. It's from Holland. It was Dutch. Van Gogh. This is what Villeneuve said. He said, I think, and they're doing this weird thing where they put it in brackets. He never said this. The response to Dune 2 was very moving because when I did the part 1, what the fuck? It's not even English. I did part 1. You tell he speaks French as a primary language and English as his second language. I'm not going to chat shit about him. I am a single language speaker, so I am in no position to critique Denis'
I always remember
English.
you trying to read some quote from something that was absolutely killing you, John. I can't remember what it was.
It was Taika Waititi.
It was that night.
Taki Waititi.
It was that night.
Taki. And when it was released, it was at the end of the pandemic. I remember. So I didn't have the chance to be in contact with the audience. We were in the theatre watching it, Denis. What the fuck are you talking about? We went to see it in the theatre, mate. It was like more of a, I felt disconnected with the audience. So when we did the tour for part 2, and we felt the joy and the appetite for the second film, it really went straight to my heart to see how much people were waiting for the film and ready to love it. Interviewer, is there a script for the third one yet? I'm doing the names. It's like that fucking film, Disappointed. I'm reading the fucking interview.
Long pause.
It's in the works, yeah. That's why I'm not staying here at TIFF very long. So there you have it. Straight from the horse's mouth. I'm trying to get this intro off. This is a shambles. It's like shambles intro. What's going on here, man? Why's that moved up? But Stephen, look, it's great. I was just thinking about this when you sent this over. Genuinely, Dune 2 felt like one of the sort of moments in cinematic history. It was like a Star Wars moment for me. What it must have been like as an adult going and seeing Star Wars back in 1977 when it came out. It was you have to be there to witness that moment. Just seeing that spectacle on the screen, it was an unbelievable epic film. Just jaw-dropping, everything about it. Technical triumph, the story. been able to adapt that novel so well to make it so lush and so rich. And look, I've still not finished Herbert's novel. I've still only seen half of it, or read half of it. But when I watched the first film, I was seeing scenes on the screen. I know this. I know this room. I know that character. I know what's going to happen. That's going to happen. And it was that well fucking adapted.
Well, I was going to say, John, I can't speak obviously for you, and I have not read the book, but do you not just love it when that happens?
Yeah.
When you've read the book and then you see that visually, and it's so close to what you imagined it to be, how close it would be.
It's incredible how close he got. In my mind, anyway, the way I visualised it, he got 99% close. So that's how good a job he did at adapting this story, which was deemed unadaptable. Just an unbelievable triumph for cinema, those two movies. So to hear that there's a third one in the works is just music to my ears. I can't wait to see it. Obviously feeling a slightly sorry for the Chani character, Zendaya, because obviously she's been jilted by Paul Atreides for the Florence Pugh character. He's going to marry her for politics and play 4D chess in this sort of conflict. She's going to be stuck on Arrakis, mining spice and just butter, looking up to the stars potentially. I hope they do something with that character and she's getting more to do than that. But I'm really looking forward to it, man. I don't know the context. I've not read anything beyond the first half of the first novel. This would probably be a time to get Gianni on, who seems to be right into Dune. He'd probably know better than us combined what would potentially be on the cards moving forward for a third film. Obviously, it's out with the confines of the first novel now. Presume it's going to move forward in time. We're going to be in the midst of this conflict, and he's becoming the full-on messiah figure. Yeah, with all the pitfalls that come with it. Really looking forward to it, man.
In terms
it's
of
fucking epic.
Villeneuve, though, I kind of get what you're saying in terms of the sort of preparation for the film more than anything. I get, obviously, most people would have saw the first one in the cinema, but I think in terms of the promotional sort of tour, that would have been missed in terms of festivals and chat shows and you know the whole thing they do you know to promote a film. So I understand that would have been a big hole there. But I think we reviewed part 2 earlier this year. Yeah, I think both of us gave it 10 out of 10 or whatever. I can't remember what we rated at the time, but it was the highest rating we could. And I think I did say this is the most I've felt in terms of satisfaction with a film probably since The Empire Strikes Back as a second part to a story. And I still feel that way. I've seen Dune Part 2 since. I saw it on, I don't know what streaming channel it was on. Can't remember. I think it may be Prime. I think it was Prime it was on.
I can't remember
where it would be. I think we actually purchased it. But again, thoroughly enjoyed it. Not the same experience as you do getting a theatre, obviously, but certainly in terms of narrative, it's storytelling. The pacing of it as well is incredible. This guy knows how. He does not rush a movie. He does not speed anything up or take any shortcuts or anything like that. And that was one of the reasons where I think he was pretty confident in saying before it was even announced there was going to be a part 2. So it's good to see they're talking about part 3 already. The script is in the works. And it's, I mean, I think if we could get Gianni on, I would certainly like to know his thoughts on this, even if he would want to do a separate video.
I can imagine I think this is to Gianni what The Lord of the Rings was to me. Although having said that, I'm talking nonsense because I'd never read The Lord of the Rings prior to the films coming out. It was the opposite for The Lord of the Rings. I watched the films and then was interested and went and read the novels. Became obsessed with Tolkien, read the Unfinished Tales, the Silmarillion, all of that stuff. Became well versed with Middle Earth and its fairy sages. But I can imagine this would be, if someone who's really invested in Dune, this would be a similar experience. Get to see it.
John, you're in a better position than me because I've not read the books. I've not read
half a book.
But in terms of the source material, is this coming from the books for Dune 3? Or is this
I would imagine it would be, Stephen. I think you did. I mean, I've got the books on my PC. I've got all of them. I've just not read them because I found it an enormously fucking tedious task.
Painful,
reading. His writing style's not for me. It's just the fact you have to go to the appendices to make sense of things. It's like I ain't got time for that. I've just not got time to be going to the end of a book and looking up what this means to then have it make sense. To be fair, it wasn't that bad, but it was a really hard read for me. Yeah. But there's loads of books, man, and I think his son potentially I don't know if I'm getting Tolkien mixed up with Frank Herbert here, but I'm sure the son was involved. There's a
Possibly,
lot of books. There's a lot of books. There's about, I want to say there's about 6 or 7 or 8. So there's a lot of scope. Hell of a lot of scope. I mean, I'll search it up just now and find out exactly how many books there are. But I'm pretty sure Herbert was involved in a lot. See this browser, man, it's got to be the worst. Dune books. Yeah, there's 6 Dune franchise. We'll go to Wikipedia. It's always a trustworthy source, isn't it?
Yep.
Novels, where for that though? There you go. You've got the full
Dune
shebang
Messiah,
there. Dune
yeah.
65, Dune Messiah, Children of Dune.
Is Messiah the one that...
That's potentially the next one.
The next one, yeah.
Yeah, because that's charting him becoming this figure and leading various factions into war against the different houses. I think that's what that is. Children of Dune, Heroes of Dune, that's 4.
Well, Heroes of Dune's Brian, isn't it?
Yeah, so I think that's his son, potentially.
2008, yeah.
So there's a lot of books, man. So there's a scope here. Maybe not for Villeneuve sing in a singular manner to go out and do all those films himself, because that's a big undertaking. Certainly if you're splitting them into 2.
Especially a filmmaker that probably wants to do other things as well. You know,
I mean,
he's
I've never seen
talented...
the guy making a bad movie.
No, exactly.
Stephen, ever. I mean, Sicario, Arrival, off the top of my head, Blade Runner. He's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
He's a phenomenal filmmaker. He's never made a bad film, and they're all different. I mean, they're kind of sci-fi in their take, but they're different.
Obviously, his production team, who he uses within, obviously his editing and his composer as well. They're all a big team, but obviously he heads it. But yeah, I can't think for the life of me a film that I've disliked from Denis Villeneuve. I can't think. Very much like Chris Nolan as well.
Nolan.
Yeah,
he's one of the few people who don't seem to make a bad film.
No, definitely not.
And he's in real rare company. He's up there with the Kubricks and Hitchcocks.
Yeah.
Certainly in a Western sense. I'm not going to go down the artsy sort of fucking French and Japanese route, because I know there's directors there. People they're the greatest. Yeah. How dare you, absolute peasants, proclaim Stanley Kubrick and Hitchcock to be the greatest directors of all time? Haven't you heard of this guy from fucking Japan? No, I haven't, because I'm from Scotland. I'm not. I've heard of him, but I've not seen his work. So I can't make an assessment on whether he's the greatest director of all time. I can only base it on what I've seen.
we knew about a third movie in the works, though, before Dune 2 was released, though, John. And I think that was quite comforting, because we came out of the theatre after seeing part 2 thinking, can't wait to see Dune 3. And I think if there wasn't one, I don't know, it just, you get this sort of build up to where Paul's going. And then it would be crazy not to continue that story on.
The cast wanted it, and they're all young in the main.
Well, this is the thing, they can learn the lesson from. I think it was, I can't remember who made this sort of comparison with, obviously, the story of Luke Skywalker, but they said, obviously, the original trilogy, that is, where it's like seeing James Bond getting all his training, and then you don't get to see actually James Bond, and that's the way it looks. And that's one of my concerns was with, obviously, the film versions of the
thinking of pissing out
the Dune films. Don't leave it too late, because very much like Denis Villeneuve. Obviously, I'm blanking on the actor's name.
Timothy Chalamet.
Timothy. He'll want to do other things. He's obviously got Dylan. He's got this big film coming out this year.
But that's the beauty with Chalamet and Stephen. It's the beauty with these films. Are pretty. I mean, obviously Dune 1 and 2 were not hugely far apart, but there's a couple of years of a gap. Yeah. So there is time for him to go and pursue different things, and he's done that.
He's done it. He'll continue doing it, John, because he's young and he's
I'm
so
really
versatile.
looking forward to that Dylan film.
The Dylan one looks
really, really good.
And you talk about the casting as well for this franchise as well, John. I don't think it's put a foot wrong.
No,
the cast.
And
certainly bringing in
Butler, Stephen Austin
Butler. I was about to call him Skarsgård.
I know,
I was
because he kind of
does. It was him.
I mean, I was thinking of that. May thy knife chip and shatter. May thy blade chip and shatter. I think it was knife. May thy knife chip and shatter. Sounded like Skarsgård. He sounded like Stellan Skarsgård. It's crazy. He clearly studied him, and he was part of the same family. He was like a younger version of him. It was crazy. Such an intimidating character when he's introduced in that arena.
I just could not see Austin Butler in that character. I couldn't see the actor.
But it shows you how good an actor he is as well. I mean, I've seen him maybe 4 films. I don't know if I've seen him in other ones. But I know certainly 3 or 4. Elvis, Once Upon a Time. I'm sure there was another one, and then Dune.
Yeah.
And he's played different characters in every single one, so his range is there. You could argue he should have probably got the Oscar for playing Elvis. I mean, it was a kind of boring film for me, but his performance was fucking unbelievable. He became Elvis. Who won the Oscar instead? I'm trying to remember.
Was it not?
It was Brendan Fraser.
Brendan Fraser, yeah.
It's difficult to deny Brendan, but
yeah. For
I probably would have.
yeah,
Probably would have.
it was a strong year, wasn't it?
it
To
was.
be fair,
Yeah.
but yeah,
The
I
Butler
mean,
was unbelievable, and the casting is on point. It
Yeah.
really is. It's just across the board. Skarsgård to Butler
Ferguson,
to Chalamet
yeah.
to Ferguson,
yeah,
even down
Zendaya,
to
yeah.
Batista in the first one, Zendaya, Josh Brolin. It's just fucking unbelievable. Oscar Isaac, Momoa.
yeah.
The casting is on point. Your man, forget his name. Not Spanish. He is Spanish.
Yep.
Played the
No
Fremen.
country.
Played the
Oh,
Fremen.
man. Yeah.
Javier Bardem.
Yeah. I'm
Fucking
too scared to say his name
outstanding.
now after that podcast.
Javier Bardem. I can't remember.
Javier.
Javier
Yeah.
Bardem.
Yeah.
He was unbelievable. Funny as
He
hell.
was probably my favourite character, actually. In that.
So
Yeah.
the casting is unbelievable, and that's what you require when you're doing stuff like this. It was like the Lord of the Rings. You think of the Lord of the Rings, you've got Elijah Wood, you've got Sam, but to say Smith, and it's not from the which we're going to be speaking about shortly. I can always forget his name.
Yeah, Sean
Fucking
Astin.
Sam,
yeah.
Sean Astin,
He played Sam, yeah.
Sean Bean, Viggo Mortensen, fucking
Ian
it's
McKellen,
just
yeah.
Ian McKellen,
Christopher
Hugo
Lee.
Weaving,
Yeah.
Christopher Lee. It's just unbelievable casting. Orlando Bloom, your man that played Gimli,
Yeah.
still alive, incredibly.
John Rhys Davies.
Yeah, he was old
Yeah.
back then. He's even older now. Casting was unbelievable. If you're going to do an epic like this, you have to get the casting spot on all aspects of the
one big
production.
actor in all of that.
Liv Tyler.
Liv Tyler's one of
Yeah.
them, but even bigger than her. Female. Gladriel.
Oh fuck, Kate Blanchett. Yeah, Ian Holman,
He ain't home, yeah.
as well.
As you said, John, the list goes on. And again, similar to Dune, the franchise, it's, just such a strong cast.
Yeah,
and,
you have to get it right.
Well, and you think of the sort of juggling that Villeneuve has to do in these type of films. They're all big epic films, big storytelling films in terms of directing all these great actors and giving them all. I thought over the spread, obviously it's the story of Paul and obviously Timothy Chalamet is going to be at front and centre, but I think just the way that it gave everyone the right amount of screen time as well. There wasn't anyone with those big. I mean, apart from perhaps maybe I'm blanking on the character's name, but
Chani,
yeah,
Steve, I thought the way they structured those two characters, the mother and Chani, off each other, and you seen her obviously try to see what could be with Paul, where he could go, and the pitfalls, and it going to his head, and him becoming corrupted. And she was trying to anchor him and keep him grounded throughout. And then you've got the mother egging it on, building up this tale of him being the Messiah, the chosen one, the one that's going to lead the Fremen to freedom and take back control over Arrakis. She wanted him.
those
to
visions
fulfill.
were fantastic. That was some
But
of
she's
the
quite
best
happy
parts,
for him
yeah.
to be corrupted because it fits her agenda, and she's wanting to almost create anarchy. It's just the conflict between those two. The way
Fulfill
that
your
he,
destiny, yeah.
the way that he structured that, it felt like two different films at times. When he was with Chani, and then she's in the south, she's killing fucking poor little baby sandworm and stuff like that. It's just, I really felt for that sandworm. I really did. That rubbed me up the wrong way.
I forgot all about
That really did rub me up the wrong way when that poor little thing get killed. That's shocking. The sack. So that's how they get the fucking blue stuff that makes their eyes think and gives them the visions.
I'm nearly
Bastard.
getting that just now. I've got something in my eye.
Oh god.
But
Yeah, just perfect films for me. The two of them are just unbelievable filmmaking. The directors there, everybody, the cinematographers, the fucking Zimmer score, the casting, everything is just on point. They all want to do it. The actors are well on board. They love working for Denis. They're all young. They're all passionate. Make it fucking happen. Give us multiple films. If Denis just want to dive into this universe, then
from that list, John, I
fire
saw
in.
at least 5 or 6 books from Frank.
yeah.
Not his son, from him, from obviously the 80s. So there's a lot of source material there. I don't know if they'll touch the boys stuff or not. Don't know if that's just too recent. But certainly there is the material there to work from. And yeah, hopefully Dune 3's out soon. Hopefully we're not going to wait too long. I would like to think maybe the next 3 years we'll see that film.
I hope so.
But we're going to move on to our next topic. But before we do, folks, are you a fan
And
of
they're on
Dune?
screen the whole time.
A big fan of part 1 and part 2, or one or the other? If you are, you're mad, because both of them are equally brilliant. Are you a fan of Denis Villeneuve? We'd like to know your comments in our comments section. We do read and we do reply to them. That's much appreciated. But we're going to talk about Beetlejuice sequel lands impressively rare Rotten Tomatoes score. Tomatoes.
Beetlejuice. Sword. Schedule.
Beetlejuice, the wisecracking ghost
schedule.
with the most, played by Michael Keaton, is back as the Dietz family returns to their Winter River home after a family tragedy. The sequel has been met with enthusiasm, earning an impressive 82% on Rotten Tomatoes
Is that
popcorn
still
meter
accurate
from
as of now?
fans
I'm going to find
who have
out.
already seen it. Yeah, I mean, this was
Rotten
pulled up, so
Tomatoes.
it might have slightly changed, John. But
Hopefully it's went up.
Oh, as well, because 82, it's still there. But
Doing well across the board.
76,
Really.
76, 82 is
Pretty
fantastic.
good. Pretty good for a sequel.
John, we put a poll out on our YouTube channel yesterday. I
need to go on and
didn't happen
vote.
to see it. It's in the community.
I'll go on and
section,
vote on it just now.
and it was just a simple question. I'm kind of off mic here at the moment trying to look for this, but yeah, 277 people voted for it. And most people were going with the original. I don't know if that was perhaps maybe just based on they've not seen the sequel yet, but
I'm not getting it.
I think it's just down there. Yeah, so
I've not seen it, so I can't really comment, can I?
Yeah. So yeah,
I'll leave that until I've seen it.
yeah. The family tragedy, John, I think it's something to do with the father,
Yeah.
who's not in the film. I don't want to get into why he's not in the film, by the way. Not the kind of channel where we talk about things like that, but
Oh, really? I've not heard.
Tim Burton has made sure that there's no way back for this character
I've not heard.
because of these things. We'll talk about that off
Oh,
camera,
fuck.
John, because certainly we don't want to do that in this channel.
Oh, dear.
But no, we'll move on anyway. You know what I'm impressed about? The
Do you
fact
want me to
that
bring up Rotten Tomatoes and we can read some of these?
the fact that they got most of the cast back, and
Yeah.
I get, a lot of people saying, "Where's Alec Baldwin? Where's Gina Davis?" I always felt, and some people are different in the fact,
Oh, you talk about? I thought you were talking about Alec Baldwin, or is it the other one?
No, it was the dad.
No, the dad. Yeah, because Alec Baldwin was the dead family. What? They were
he
the
was.
original,
Yeah, and to some people, they were the main characters. I didn't see it. I might have been in a minority here. Michael Keaton was the main guy in this film. Beetlejuice.
I fucking looked the poster up. Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice.
I always felt that
It was on the poster.
I can't remember her name. His name is Adam. I can't remember her character's name, Gina Davis' character. But they just served a purpose to open this world up, the Tim Burton's head.
Yeah.
And give us this performance from Michael Keaton and everything else around it. In terms of Lydia, played by Winona Ryder, and Catherine O'Hara, who plays the mother in it, was just sort of. It was just dressing, but it was all about him for me.
Yeah.
And I'm just glad to see that they've done it. I'm glad it's been a long time. You're talking 35 years, 40 years, or whatever it is. I don't know if it's that long, but 88.
I'm just really surprised with the
36 years.
positivity, because I've spoke time and again about the pitfalls of. I'm pitfall in the brain tonight, but I digress. I'm going to use it.
John, that's why I've strategically placed our next topic after this, because it kind of
I was thinking that. Yeah, it was quite nicely
Yeah.
done the way you've kind of going to bridge those two topics, because it kind of fits. There's always pitfalls when you try to remake a film. I mean, I think there was what was the other one? There was another one they tried to remake. I think they're still in the process of remaking it. I was about to say the Munchies. It's not though.
The Monsters.
The Monsters. There was a remake of that happening,
Was
isn't
there?
there?
Yeah,
I think
know
there is.
that.
I don't
Didn't
know.
know
Maybe
that.
I'm talking shite. It's not the first
It
time.
happens, John. It sometimes works and it sometimes mostly doesn't. But
Yeah,
the
because-
ones I can tell you didn't work was Coming to America,
Yeah.
Dumb and Dumber 2. I was going to say Beverly Hills Cop Axel F, but I actually didn't mind that. I thought it was okay. And then other ones like Top Gun sequel.
Yeah, I mean, that was better than the original for me.
Yeah.
I
So
mean, that's one of
it
the rare.
It
It does happen, but
yeah.
it's rare. You think of the action stuff and Total Recall and Robocop, it just doesn't work. Because it's a new era, new audience, and you have to make films differently. But Tim Burton's Tim Burton.
Yep.
I suppose his films take on a different entity entirely, so he can maybe get away with it and circumvent some of the downsides, but it's really difficult. take a film from the 80s and
I
bring it
think-
into 2020s.
I think
and
in
and
terms
make
of
it work.
tone and feel and look, John, one of the things that I
Bringing
think
in
that
Ortega
I
as a
did, that was a
masterstroke.
masterstroke from Tim Burton, was the fact that they weren't tempted to go down the CG route. They continued with stop motion as part homage to the original movie, and to continue that sort of feel and vibe of the original movie, which you've got to take your hat off to, because it would have been probably cheaper to do it down the CG route rather than stop motion. Stop motion's not a cheap thing these days.
No, it's not. But
do.
we've seen that. Time fucking art now. You've only really got Leica and a couple other studios doing it and doing it well. But we've seen that with Star Wars, Steve. A lot of people didn't like the prequels because it was blue screen and really CGI heavy.
Yeah.
To be fair, over-hate the sequel trilogy. There was definitely more practical stuff in that, and certainly The Mandalorian and Rogue One were really paying homage to the original trilogy films by using a lot of stop motion and droids and practical stuff.
Yeah.
They were on location a lot more, and it makes it more tangible, more gritty looking, and that makes it blend in with the original movies better. And I genuinely think that's why they're better received in the main than some of the other films that have come out since the 70s and 80s in Star Wars. It does help if you can tonally and visually bridge a gap. Beetlejuice. I'll bring it up though, Steve. We'll have a quick gander.
Yeah,
as I like
I'm
to
very
say.
interested to see what people's
That was not a
feedback
spoiler.
on that. And I've kind of kept away from Jeremy Jahns and the usual suspects at the
I
moment.
can
because,
imagine you'll like that.
yeah, I would imagine so. But I want to get into this because this is another film I'm
Stuntman
going to
likes
go and
everything, so we can't really take him serious now. He doesn't dislike
critical
films now.
drinker. I watch him, but yeah, and obviously our very own Sin's Corner.
She's seen it, yes, since seen it. Yeah.
I don't know if she's seen it, but certainly when she does review it, or if she hasn't already, I'll check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Sarah Michelle Fetters, moviefreak.com. I don't know who that is. She's a top critic though. Never heard of moviefreak.com, but I have now. As legacy sequels go, Beetlejuice gets so much right, it's easy to gloss over the majority of its more obvious missteps. Incidentally, I watched Ortega on Fallon, and I think it's always a positive thing for a film when an actor has worked with the production team before on Wednesday.
Yeah.
The guy slipped the script into her, obviously her notes or whatever, and then she drove away and she stopped and read it, she says, on the side of a highway over there, and she immediately was taken by the script. That's always positive when you've got an up-and-coming actor who's already hitting the ball out of the park and successful, and they read the script and they think there's something special there. Tells me that
You're a fan of Ortega though, John.
yeah, I
aren't
think
you?
she's a great actor, quite zany, quite different. Puts me in mind of Winona Ryder in a lot of ways.
It's funny that,
In a
She's
new
playing
era.
The daughter, yeah.
She says it was an absolute privilege working with those two. Also Michael Keaton as well. She was quite taken aback. Did you see him in makeup? Not quite Ledger, Joker and the Batman, or the Dark Knight, the Batman. Raddy and Simon Pillai, the Batman Knight. What are you talking about, John? CBC Radio. There's something comforting in seeing Tim Burton exercising his demons, bringing everything back together and conjuring up some of the warmth that was in the original. That's the key, man. You have to get the tone bang on. You have to bridge a gap visually, tonally, and having most of the original cast there, that will always help with that. And there has to be a real rationale to doing a sequel. If you're just doing it for cynical reasons to make money, the audience will sniff it out like a fucking sniffer dog at an airport. They'll sniff it out like cocaine on a dodgy looking fucker trying to get out of Colombia. Just don't do it. But to be fair, Burton doesn't do things like that in the main. Rick Bentley, I'll not do this all night, it's bogging it down. It's a spirited comedy that goes from the manically, I think that's maniacally macabre, to the ghostly ghoulish. It is strong enough, these fuckers with their fancy English, for new and old fans to want to say the demon's name 3 times if it means another sequel. So there you are. Maybe do one more, maybe a negative one potentially. I like the negative Nancy's. Can we get there? You go. Diana Tuova, spotlight on film. Beetlejuice is a frenzied series of darkly comic sketches and various scraps of random stories, introduced in such a hectic whirlpool of emotion we won't take a breather anywhere, much less care what is being thrown at us every 5 minutes. Sounds like a great fucking time to me, I'm not going to lie, Diana. I like my films Fast and Furious, I'm not going to lie. I say we should get back to more Indiana Jones in the 1980s, where it's fucking crazy frenetic for 2 hours and then it's one bam, thank you, man, out the door and you're done. That's what I want, man. I could not believe. I can't remember the one with Sean Connery, what the name is, because they all blend into one.
Yeah.
That Indiana Jones film, I
Last
watched it.
Crusade, yeah.
I could not believe, Stephen, how fucking crazy it
I
was.
watched it recently, yeah.
It's so quick.
It's my favourite out of the three.
It's
original
unrelenting.
three.
It's just bang, 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 bang. There's very little slowdown in that film.
That's a
We need more
fantastic
films
film,
like that, man.
But in terms of Beetlejuice, John, I'll be honest that when I did first hear this was getting, the rumours of it being made, I was concerned. I was thinking, do we really need it? I don't think we do need it. I think the original sits up well on its own. It's not doesn't really need a continuation of any of these characters. I think they dealt with the characters very well in the first original film, and it was a great ending as well. Seeing Beetlejuice getting his head shrunk for taking that ticket, I just thought it was a great film. It's so original, John, at the time, and it was. I think I didn't see Michael Keaton previous to that. I wasn't really paying attention to the stuff that he did before Beetlejuice, but this was the one that sort of caught my eye. I then became a fan of him through obviously watching the following year Batman, and then the following year the Dream Team, and so on. Some great
Dream Team
90s
is
films
one
as
of the
well.
greatest films of all
Multiplicity.
time.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
it's
man.
he's just got this energy about him. And then we've seen another side to him, John. We saw him in The Founder, which it's one of my favourite films
Still
over the
not
last
seen that.
10
I
years.
seen a clip from it, and it looked great.
He's so good in it. It's a
When he
great
goes
story.
to McDonald's and places the order,
Yeah,
a similar, I think it was McDonald's, and
he
he's like,
sits on the bench, yeah.
no, he's actually at the window, and the
Yeah.
guy gives him the burger and the drink and the fries. He's like, what the fuck's this?
Yeah,
I've just placed it. He's like,
yeah.
no, that's your order.
Yeah,
He's
it's
like,
incredible.
what?
Yeah, it's a great film.
Yeah, I need to
And,
watch
and
that.
obviously we've seen him in the Spider-Man films as well, which I thought he was fantastic in, and Birdman, which came before Spider-Man. Just a great actor, you know, and it's good to see him coming back. But my concerns was, will he have the energy to do this? Will he? Well, obviously came back in The Flash as well, playing Batman again, and he was great in that. It was the best thing about that film, which wouldn't have been hard, but he was really good. He was really, really
Ezra will
good.
be chasing you down with
Yeah.
a half bottle of bourbon found out of some neighbour's basement.
You want to
He'll
get
be hunting
crazy?
you down.
Yeah.
They'll be hunting you down.
Yeah,
You
I
need to
mean,
be careful there.
that was my concerns going into this sequel. Was the most important thing is Keaton. He has to have his sort of mojo back for this character, because he needs to be balls to the wall, funny. Because James Earl Jones has died, by the way. Breaking news.
Holy
93.
fuck.
Just saw that coming through there. Jeez, oh.
Fucking hell.
Oh,
That's shocking.
yeah.
Oh, no.
So there we go, folks.
When did that break? 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Fuck me, that's
Man.
that's a bad
Yeah.
bit of news, that.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Good man.
Absolute fucking
Yeah.
legend of a
93,
figure.
Yeah.
I'm actually
Yeah.
getting a tear in my eye with that.
Yeah.
You know that? That's fucking crazy.
I
I
think
know
we-
he's a good age, man,
Yeah.
but when you lose people of that standing, that is shocking. Yeah, when you lose people, I spoke about this many, many times. We've got guys like Clint Eastwood and whatnot who are getting to that age where they're now starting to pass away, and you're losing a truly great generation of
Yeah.
people. I mean, this guy's just so influential for cinema. I mean, Darth Vader, so many other incredible roles.
Mufasa, yeah.
Mufasa, what a voice,
Yeah.
what a man. Yeah, it's
I
fucking
don't think
truly sad.
there's not much we can say. It's just sort of hit us there.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, I know he's obviously a good age, John. 93. I mean,
yeah.
this guy was. I saw him recently. I'm saying recently. It was a good 10 years ago, but in The Big Bang Theory, and he was
Yeah.
so funny in it.
Yeah.
Just so funny, and he embraced his fame in terms of Vader. He wasn't originally credited in the original film, but I think it was reinserted for the special editions where he got a credit. I think it was by his own request. I think that was the modesty of the guy. He just didn't think he'd done enough. This is crazy when you think about it now, but back in '77, doing a voice of a character that not
Yeah, I don't
many
think-
people knew about
Yeah,
at
I
the time,
don't
and
think anyone was taking it
the
serious.
legend wasn't there at that point. For him to say, I don't want my name in the credits because I don't think I've earned the right to have my name in the credits, that says a lot about the man.
Yeah. That's sad news,
Yeah.
man. It really is. And it's crazy to think fairly recently he was still acting. And obviously we kind of knew his voice wasn't as strong because there was a lot of talk of they were bridging maybe some AI stuff in and whatnot. I don't know if it was AI at the time, but they were doing some stuff
Yeah.
where they were kind of fattening the voice up a bit. But yeah, I mean, that's when you lose figures of that standing, that's
Yeah.
momentous. Sad fucking news, that.
Yeah.
Sad news.
I'm
Rest
sure-
in peace.
I'm sure we'll,
yes.
John, is obviously they don't know the cause of the death yet, but I'm sure once obviously the facts came out. We'll probably talk about it a bit more in depth on the show. But yeah, Mark Hamill's obviously R.I.P. Dad. That's quite touching.
Yeah.
So yeah, James Earl Jones, 1931 to 2024, folks.
Same generation as my grandparents. Great generation that are passing away now, sadly.
Yeah. Before we move on, John, if you anything else you would like to say about Beetlejuice sequel?
Just looking forward to potentially going and getting a chance to see it, Stephen. Seeing how well they've done bridging the gap between the first and this. It's a long time to be waiting to do a sequel, but I suppose it makes sense when you bring the daughter of Lydia in. It gives you, I mean, it makes sense in terms of the time. Well, it doesn't because she's not fucking 30, but I mean, it kind of makes sense. You can say it's set 10 years ago or something.
Yeah,
so
it
kind of works, but I mean, it's ballsy doing a sequel to a really popular film, a cult classic from different era in filmmaking, different era in society, and potentially by the looks of it making it work.
Yeah.
I tip my hat to Tim.
Yeah, took a chance and it's paid off.
Took a chance.
But guys, if you've seen Beetlejuice yet, the Beetlejuice sequel that is, if you have, let us know in the comment section. What did you think of it? Have you seen the original film? Where have you been if you've not? Did you like the original film? And what do you think of Michael Keaton's performance in the sequel as well? We're very interested to know your thoughts on that in our comment section. But we're going to move on to our final topic, and we're going to stay on topic in terms of sequels 40 years apart. And we're talking about the Goonies, John. Fans are set for a second instalment of the film, with reports suggest it could be released in the next couple of years. A source told The Sun that the Goonies reboot, long discussed, has finally been approved. Development is expected to start next summer, with a potential release in 2026 or 2027. Warner Bros. Understands the cultural significance of the original and it aims to get it right. John, I've been kind of trying to piece it together in different sort of platforms, and they're all pointing to the Sun's report, which we'll take with a pinch of salt, but I've seen it in reports that Steven Spielberg's coming on to direct.
Wow.
And that was one of my main concerns. Richard Donner, who sadly passed away a few years ago, was the original director. This, I think Spielberg's story, Spielberg produced it, but Donner was the man in the chair for it. And when he passed away, I thought that was the chance away for a Goonies sequel. And I still have reservations about this, John. One of the sort of charms of that original film was the naivety of the kids in it, and their sort of freshness and their excitement to go on an adventure. These guys are all older than me. They're all in their 50s. And I don't know how this is going to play out if this is true. I have got concerns about this one.
I think it would almost be like at chapter 2.
Yeah.
Where they've grown up. It's a new era. They've got kids themselves. And maybe they're, I don't know, just looking into what's happened to fucking children in modern era, what's happened to society. They've lost their connection with outside. Everyone's inside. They're depressed. They're getting fat. They're getting testosterone levels are dropping through the fucking floor for young guys because they're just inactive. They're sitting on their iPads doing nothing all day. Maybe they're going to reflect on that and try and do a positive. No, but try and project some positivity that, look, you get off your arse and go out and experience the world. Maybe they can do something like that. I don't know. Also, you can't have
a mixed message in there.
You need to go deep. I mean, these 80s movies, they always had a double sort of meaning. They always had deeper messages if you look for it.
Yeah.
That's what made them so good. I mean, I've never seen the Goonies. To this day, I've still not seen it. I've seen clips from it, but I've not seen the film.
Along in the making there,
yeah, I need to watch it.
Fantastic
was that
movie,
the one with the Italian guy who was singing? What a
Yeah.
fucking voice, by the way. Unbelievable.
He was a tenor, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was incredible.
Yeah.
So I do have to watch it, but it's always intriguing. I mean, they've always been well up for it, all of them. Corey Feldman and whatnot. I mean, obviously, Brolin's not going to.
Brolin's never knocked it back. He's always said if the script's right, and the cast can get all back together. And some big names in there now that have went on to make big names for themselves. And some of them Academy Award winners. But I don't know. I don't know how I sit with this, John. I'm kind of regurgitating my feelings on Beetlejuice again here at that point where I'm thinking.
Well, Tim's made a success of it. This is another example where you have to get it right. There has to be a real positive reason.
There has to be a reason,
yeah, for doing it, because you've got such an iconic film that's a baton passing film, generational experience where adults will pass it on to their kids, it will pass it on to their kids.
Yeah.
You have to get it right. It has to be
the idea is, John, that they obviously found the ship at the end. I don't want to spoil this for you, but apparently they're picking up when Mikey, who played by Sean Astin, was some of the treasure that was obviously it had to go back to the authorities. The government took control of that, but he put a stash buried, and I think that's the story they're going to try and tell, was try to find that treasure again. So I don't know if it can work. Maybe they'll do a bit of de-aging flashback, kind of, you know, to sort of tie in. I don't know.
Could be like a less violent The Five Bloods, where you get the old gang back together.
Yeah,
and maybe see how the dynamic is. The what was that one with fucking Edgar Wright film? The least good one of the Cornetto trilogy.
The World's End. Yeah.
Where it's they've all went off and lived lives and come back.
Yeah,
it's an interesting dynamic. You have these people. Do they have the same bond? Have they remained in contact from their childhood years and the adult years?
I think the chap that played Chunk, I can't remember the actor's name off the top of my head, but he stepped away from acting decades ago, and he was one of the best things about that original film. Such a funny character, such a great actor as well in terms of that film. Just so funny. Some of his movement, his comedic movement, just was great. And I'm not talking about Truffle Shuffle here. I'm talking about even blood. When he's blood out, getting put into the back of the truck, and he's kind of opening his mouth. It cracks me up every time. It cracks my daughter up as well. This is one of her favourite films. But I'm not sure I want a sequel to this. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I'll quickly. I don't know if Sharia CINE is still in, but we did do a reaction to 12 films. Sadly, it got claimed. We get a strike on the channel for it, but we agree it was an unbelievable film. Just a stunning film. We rated it a 10.
That was our reward for rating it a 10. We got a strike on the channel.
It was unbelievable. It was Vikrant Massey, is that what his name is? Vikrant Massey from obviously Babu fame.
Yeah.
Made in Heaven. Yeah, it was an unbelievable film. One of the best films I've seen, period. Just incredible story of human indefatigability. Just outstanding. So, yeah, we did watch it though, sadly. We did react to it and it got claimed. So you can thank whoever it was that claimed it for that. Clowns. I'll readily admit it, you can't claim it again. It's not in the channel anymore. Come at me, bitch. Yeah. Stephen, I searched up West Side Story. You were probably wondering, what the fuck is this clown next to me doing? And the rationale was Steven Spielberg. And he was taking a movie. I mean, he didn't produce the original one in 1961, but he'd redirected a classic film. This isn't a remake of a film, but it's a similar thing where he takes something that's tried and tested and special to a lot of people and brings a more modern take on it. And he does it really well. It's got 92%, 85 on Metacritic. The original was probably about the same, if not less. 92, rated the same.
Yeah.
So you're putting it in safe hands when you put Stephen in the director's seat. If he's definitely stepping in.
Yeah, but that's the difference is obviously he has connections with the original film, being producer and obviously part writer. I don't know if he fully wrote the original film, but
he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, and I think he was hands-on as well, a hands-on producer. He wasn't like, he was on set, he would mingle with Donna, he'd mingle with the kids, he would hang out with the kids and stuff. So I'm not really sure. I don't know.
I mean, that's an incredible first sort of fucking tick off the box, if you like, of making a sequel a success, bringing in Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, I think
because he is to me, he's one of the greatest directors of all time.
Yeah.
Someone might disagree out there, I don't know who.
But you need to see the original, John.
I do. I have to watch it.
You would like it, yeah. It's very good.
I mean, it's one of those I mean, I've seen a hell of a lot of 80s kind of films. My sort of Goonies was The Little Rascals. I think that was the 90s. There was a lot of films like that back then, but it was sort of adventurous little kids that were a little bit maverick in their personality, getting out there and getting at it.
Yeah.
And there was tons of movies like that back in the day.
It still cracks me up.
Was that?
One-Eyed Willie.
One-Eyed Willie.
Pilot. Yeah.
You wouldn't get away with that now. You just wouldn't get away with it. But I mean, the cast is there, and is that your man? Ki Hai Kwan?
Yeah. I think back then he had a different name.
Yeah, it was
Jonathan.
Like John or something. Yeah. Like that. Crazy. Just call me Dave.
Yeah.
So backward. Actually painful.
The funny thing is, I think during COVID, they got all these guys back to do that. Do you remember? I'm blanking on his name. He played Olaf in Frozen. Did the voice.
Yeah, I'll search it up.
Can't remember his name. He was in Beauty and the Beast as well.
Hey, Josh
Gad.
Yeah.
He did this reunited thing during COVID this year. Remember, he pulled
Yeah.
all these sort of stars. He did a Ferris Bueller one. I think he did
Lord of the Rings.
Breakfast Club, Lord of the Rings, and I think he did obviously one for the Goonies as well. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I think they are tight in terms of relationships. I don't think there's been big fallouts or egos or anything like that. I think since that film was made, they've all kind of stayed in touch. So there is a possibility it could happen.
Yeah, look, I wouldn't be adverse to it. I need to watch the original, but if there's a rationale there for making a sequel, and the cast and crew or the cast, the OG cast are on board, including Chunk, whatever his name is. Need to get him back as well.
Hey, you guys.
See if we can get Joe Pesci out of retirement. I think it was Pesci anyway. We can get fucking Chunk out of retirement.
Yeah.
Whip his arse into shape. He'll probably be in shape by now, to be fair.
Yeah,
I think you've seen a photograph. Yeah, he's in far better shape now. Why not? This mic is doing my head in. Honesty.
See, I don't touch this one.
Fucking God. I don't touch it either, Steve. It just continues to kill me. It's shit. And that wasn't cheap. Can I just stress that was not cheap? That shot mount is fucking crazy
I see
expensive.
someone in the community asked about them, John. You replied.
Yeah, the boom arms. Oh, for fuck. I hate them. I genuinely hate them. Might be gig worthy boom arms. I mean, to be fair, the boom arms are pretty fucking good. It's just the shock mounts on the mic that are shit. Boom arms pretty damn good. They've lasted a long time. Not even a mark on them. So I'm chatting shit. That's fucking terrible. But we've got a final comment before we round it up.
Yeah.
I don't know who writes such kind of statements. That would be the India Today. They were the ones that wrote that statement. Yeah. And he rules the box office down in Tamil Nadu. It's a fact. He's the absolute fucking god of South Indian cinema. That's an absolute
They're just
fact.
the messengers.
Yeah, but I agree with it as well. He is, guys. He's the goat of Indian cinema in the South.
It's all subjective.
It is, but I'm right. This is a telepathy Vijay fan fucking space, whatever you'd call it. I don't know.
Zone.
Fan zone.
Yeah.
Don't come in here hating on Joseph. I'm a fan of Joseph. What's your thoughts though on GOAT? Speaking of Joseph, breaking a lot of box office records. I don't know if it is. It's just doing really well.
Yeah,
it's just doing really well.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on its box office performance?
You don't get better than worldwide.
You don't get better than worldwide. 4 days, I think someone said in the chat, they gave us an updated figure. It was 400 crore or something. 620 crore.
Yeah.
Officially it's 288, but apparently it's done a lot more. So, no, Leo was 620 crore. It's done 288 crore. I'm talking nonsense. I can't read clearly. But it's doing very well. It's done nearly half the gross. That was very Trumpian. Doing very, very well. Very, very well. It's done half a Leo in 4 days. What's your thoughts on it, Shay? Thoughts then both? You've got anything to say? Thoughts on Dune 3, a third Dune film? It will not be called Dune 3, probably Dune Messiah or something to that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what book they're going to be doing. I'm not even going to finish that statement. There's a third Dune film though. Script's underway, very much in active production, pre-production. Thoughts on that? Thoughts on Beetlejuice? I'm just going over what Steve said already. Steve's already done this and he's done it far more articulately than I could ever hope to do it. Thoughts on Beetlejuice? Beetlejuice doing very well at the Rotten Tomatoes side of the equation if you're into that thing. I think it's at 70% now, 82 with the regular punters as we like to call them, audience. Rotten potatoes. Yes, tomatoes. Thoughts on the Goonies potentially getting a sequel after 40 years? That's my seat, incidentally. Just recreate it. Prove it. Thoughts on Spielberg? My guy wants me to prove it. Thoughts on Spielberg potentially directing? If you've got anything to share at all about anything we've touched upon in this show, put it down below in the comments section. Like the video if you've enjoyed it on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon on YouTube as well. It allows you to see content from the channel. The only reason I'm specifying is because we're also streaming on Twitch. Yeah. Same thing over on Twitch, follow button and notifications button over there if you want to see us live over there on a completely different platform. What's left to be said though is thank you to everyone that came in and commented. Thank you to anybody that's come in and watched and suffered me talking a lot of shite. I'm not going to speak for Stephen. Stephen speaks a lot more sense.
Talking shite as well.
And all that's left to be said is until the next time, again, all that's left to be said. Until the next time, thank you for watching us. And bye-bye. Just looking down. So professional, guys. Looking down at that end screen thing that I have to manually click. Bye-bye.